The following is a production of Frank DeFreitas and the Internet Webzine of Holography.
Hello everyone, this is Frank DeFreitas and welcome to another week of HoloTalk. We actually have two guests this week. We have Rob Taylor from Fourth Dimension Holographics in Nashville, Indiana. And we have Mikhail Grichin. I think that's how you pronounce the last name. My apologies if it's pronounced incorrectly. It's spelled G-R-I-C-H-I-N-E. And Mikhail is the director of the Geola lab in Lithuania. And both will be on to tell us about the first totally automated holographic pulse camera system from Geola that's being installed here in the United States. So we will have them on in just a minute. But first, I have a few announcements to make. First of which is happy birthday to my daughter, who's going to be 20 years old on November 2nd, and she is a physics and mathematics major whose professor was in one of my holography workshops back in the early 80s. So I just want to say happy birthday to you, and it is an odd and strange feeling to finally have a daughter or child that's in their 20s now. So what does that say about me? She's the oldest of three, and happy birthday. Got an email from TJ, Dr. Jeong from Lake Forest College, and he wanted to inform me that he now has a holography kit that he put together and is available for sale at his Integraph website, which is based around laser pointer or laser diode holography, and it comes with the laser diode, the film, the chemistry, and I believe one or two instruction manuals on how to do experiments using the kit. So if you have an interest in purchasing the kit, you can go to the link page, and the link that you're looking for is Integraph. Click on that link and it will take you to TJ's website, and you can get more information and ordering information on this kit. Also, I'd like to remind everyone that this Wednesday evening is the open house here in the studio at Allentown, Pennsylvania, and the topic is not actually pulse, but holographic portraits. And it ties in very nicely with the show that we're having this week. And when you come into the studio, you'll be able to see examples of pulsed holography, and also a few holograms that were shot when myself and my youngest daughter went to New York to the Sony Center to have our holographic portraits done on Sony's instant stereographic holographic camera as well. So we'll have them here. And to close out the evening, we'll be showing you how you can do your own little holographic portraits using your typical equipment that you have in your studio, such as your sand table, your continuous wave helium neon, or diode laser system. But what's interesting is you can shoot these holograms starting with your 35 millimeter camera, any standard 35 millimeter camera, and then proceed to make your holographic portrait. And we'll take a look at both the holographic strip masters, the laser transmission masters, and also the transfers. Now, of course, these holograms are nothing compared to the pulsed laser systems that are out there in some of the laboratories, but it makes very nice little holographic portraits that you could do on your own of your friends and family and pets or whatever, and you might want to come out and check that out. It starts at 7:30 p.m. promptly, runs about an hour and a half to 9 o'clock. It's free of charge, but you do need to send me an email or give me a call on the phone to let me know to expect you to be here. There's refreshments served, and we all have a pretty good time. So let's move on to our interview, and I just want to thank you for tuning in. We're having a great season. This is the third season here at HoloTalk, and we're getting a lot of listeners this year. Each week I like to think that I'm able to bring you news and information concerning the fields of lasers and holography. I hope you enjoy the show. I try to have guests each week, but occasionally I'll take a show on my own in case, sometimes someone can't make it as scheduled, or just that there happens to be some information I'd like to pass along to you, such as a special show that I have coming up on the reemergence of single beam holography, which should be very interesting for a lot of amateurs and hobbyists out there to hear how you can do some very nice single beam holograms, including image plane transfers and things of that nature. That'll be coming up as well. So I will say thank you for tuning in. I'm not going to come on after the show's over, and I hope you tune in each and every week to HoloTalk throughout this season, which will run to Memorial Day in the year 2000. So thanks for tuning in. Here's the show. See you next week.
Frank?
Well, hello. How did you know it was me?
Well, because this line doesn't get much use now. We just activated this line for the studios.
Oh, I see. Well, you're getting to have a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, we sure are. Can't hardly stand it. I'm so excited around right now.
Well, why don't we start right off by you telling everyone what it is that you're doing out there?
Well, we have just installed and completed the first master and copying with the, I guess you could say it's this hemisphere's first totally automated holographic pulsed camera system. And we have been installing it since last Thursday, and today we just started doing the calibration and testing with test slavage plates. And we just stuck the 30 by 40 centimeter H2 transfer reflection copy on the drying rack about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, boy.
We did, I just recorded my father, who's 72 years old, and he was my first test subject.
Well, you know, I've always said that there's so many people in our history right now that really need to be recorded holographically.
Yeah. It's especially I see big applications for the very young and the very old, because you can record young children at the precious moment when they're at a certain age, and they are really you always want to remember them at a certain age, and then older people that have developed have a lot of wisdom and that type of thing for in their later years they have a lot of character built into their face. It's a perfect time to record that person.
Yeah, very interesting three-dimensional subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing for kids who have had holographic portraits done that after 5, 10, 15 years have gone by and they go back and they look at themselves again, looking at themselves as kids, staring back at themselves, and that's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it would be interesting to do, and I don't know that anybody's ever done it, but it would be interesting to do a child, masters of a child through, certain phases or ages of their life, and then incorporate those masters into, like, say, a 3-channel reflection hologram, so that you could actually see them from a young age, and then a little bit older, like, say, 4 or 5 years older, and then, say, 4 or 5 years older again. That would be an interesting hologram.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Would it be too early for me to ask you the price of this service?
No. I think that we are going to be doing 30 by 40 centimeter glass plate reflection copies for $495. That's our targeted price, and I don't see any reason why through this initial testing that we just completed that we can't stay on target with that price.
That's very reasonable.
That's pretty much a price breakthrough.
Yeah. Now, why don't you tell everybody where your studio is located, and you also have a retail shop and everything there, don't you?
Yeah, we're in a little town in southern Indiana called Nashville, Indiana. We're kind of in the heart of the Hoosier National Forest. Very picturesque and rustic area down here in southern Indiana. It's a kind of a tourist town with a lot of craftspeople that make their own products, and so we like to think of ourselves as a craftspeople here too. Now that we're have this pulsed holography system, and we can be doing recording.
Is that that's a solid state laser in that system, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a neodymium YELF glass phosphate laser. Driven by a crystal.
I see.
And flash lamps. Actually, we got the most of the components last Thursday, and unfortunately, through the shipping from Lithuania, we experienced one flash lamp that had broken and in the main amplifier. So we have been waiting for about 2 or 3 days to get that in, and we just got that in last night at 5 o'clock, so we installed that last night, and we're up and running this morning.
What's the power requirements?
We're using 220 or 240 volts, but it's a single phase, and you can power this thing actually over a standard 110 current.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting thing to be involved in. I'm very, very excited and lucky to be able to have this.
Is that relatively new, this technology, or has it been around for many years?
Well,
History applied to this system.
It's a relatively new technology, I would think. I would probably like to refer you to Mikhail, because he's actually the inventor of the camera system, or most of the components within. He works with Geola, the company that actually manufactures this camera system in Lithuania. Mm-hmm. We actually formed a partnership to get this into the United States and used components both from the U.S. and Lithuanian and Russian-based technology. Mm-hmm. So we kind of formed a combination to actually get the required parts together and actually assemble a camera system here.
How easy is it to get to your shop from any, or could you name some of the larger metropolitan areas that are around you?
Yeah, we're about hour south of Indianapolis, which is the capital of Indiana. Cincinnati, Columbus, Chicago, Louisville, Kentucky, all those are within easily driving distance of, say 1 to 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're kind of centrally located in between those areas.
And I would imagine for a pulsed portrait, something that special, that it wouldn't be beyond anyone to make a day trip, an overnight trip out of it.
No.
Stay somewhere and have that done during the day, sightsee, and...
That's our feeling, because we plan on making this a same-day service even. With this being a totally automated system, we can go from mastering to copying mode, basically with the flick of a switch in about less than 30 seconds. So,
oh, my goodness.
We plan on, doing sittings in the morning, and then people can shop within the 200-plus little shops within Nashville and have a nice meal or something, come back, view their master, and then we'll process the copy out and dry it, and should have the reflection copy by, that evening.
Mm-hmm. Now, you say you have Mikhail. Okay.
Yeah, he's here, and he can tell you more about this camera system and the technology behind it.
And I'm going to have a link up to your website for the show, and also your phone number.
Great. And like I said, I'm real excited. I'll let you talk to him. I'm going to go and see if my dad's plate is dry.
I know that feeling.
Reflection copy.
I know that feeling.
Hey, nice talking to you, Frank.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Hello?
Mikhail, how are you?
Okay.
This is Frank DeFreitas. We do a radio show here called HoloTalk.
I know.
Yeah, you know. Okay, I have a couple questions I'd like to ask you. Mm-hmm. And first off, maybe we should just take a few minutes to speak about Geola. If you could tell us a little bit about the company.
Geola was formed in 1994 as a sister company of Australian Holographics. Australian Holographics, it's a pretty well-known company in the field of large holography. Mm-hmm. It's located in Adelaide, South Australia. And this company is specialized in large format display holography.
I see. Using traditional lasers at that
point? Using continuous wave lasers.
Yeah.
And the sizes of holograms were really exciting. It was up to 1 by 2 meters rainbow holograms and up to 1 by 1 meter reflection.
Oh, they're pretty big reflection holograms.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've ever... Well, maybe I have. Did they ever have any work that was in images in time and space, or any of those other exhibits that went around, do you know?
Really I don't know exactly. Okay. I know that a lot of the holograms were exhibited in Asia, in countries like Malaysia, Taiwan, Singapore, I think.
I see.
Yeah, most the market was there.
What products and services do you currently offer to the field of holography with Geola?
Maybe I'll just add a couple of words about our further, growing of our company, and then we'll tell about our product, which we have now.
Okay. Link so that they can go to the website on the web page.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a question about, do we have our website? Or?
Yeah, I'll put a link to your website so people can go there and see about Geola.
Yeah. Well, we have our website. It's actually very easy, geola.com.
Yeah. What about the holographic portrait system? Can you tell us a little bit about that and its operation?
About our
the holographic camera.
Yeah. Okay, so let's. I'll begin maybe a little from history.
Okay.
Because this technique actually was started in our company in 1996, in middle of 1996, and Geola carried out some research work in order to record final holograms, like copies, with a solid-state pulse laser. And first experiments were pretty successful, and at the same time, beautiful technology of color control for reflection hologram was introduced. And so those two things actually were basis of our future design.
Mm-hmm.
And then we exhibited high-quality reflection holograms of 40 by 60 centimeters, printed with this technique, a completely pulse technique, in Laser 97 trade fair in Munich. And then 1 month later, we exhibited them in the International Symposium for Display Holography in Lake Forest in the USA. And since that, after that time, Geola actually became separate from us, from Australian Holographic, and our company dealing with mostly with the most advanced pulse technology for display holography.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding our present product, our traditional field of activity is large format holography and pulse lasers for this. And so we offer a range of high energy lasers based on neodymium YELF, neodymium phosphide glass system. And recently we completed design of range of laser for general scientific applications.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we produce holograms itself. So currently it's up to 1 by 1 meter size, both reflection and rainbows.
What's the largest size that the camera will produce?
This camera can produce 60 by 40, and actually it's our standard size.
Yeah, that's nice.
But there is no restriction in laser energy. No, I mean, at least for, say, 60 by 80 centimeters, it's possible to build such a camera.
Yeah.
And,
Is this the first unit in the United States?
Yeah, that's true. And the United States, that's the first.
What about the Slavic recording materials? Now, you're a distributor for those, right? Or a wholesaler?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now it's pretty well-known materials in the holography community. And, after ACFA discontinued production of holographic materials, this emulsion from Slavic slowly but surely occupies this market.
Mm-hmm.
And holoplates PUG01, actually they have 3 families of materials. It's fine grain, ultra fine grain, and dichromated gelatin. So PUG01 and PUG and the VRPM are fine grain material, for PUG01 for red recording, and VRPM is green sensitive material.
Yeah, and the 01 works fine for reflection holography as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
And they're pretty similar to ACFA's, respectively HE75 HD and HE56 HD.
Yeah, the 01 is, not the 03.
01. Yeah. 03 it's an ultrafine grain. It's the next family. And the next family is POG03M and POG03C. Both are ultrafine grain material.
Oh, I see.
They have slightly less sensitivity. And POG03M is red sensitive, and POG03C is with a panchromatic response.
Do both the 01 and the 03 require late intensification in the process, or just
not really. You know, with intensification, I can explain. Actually, pulse walk requires intensification. If one records just with a continuous wave hologram, it's not necessary to use intensification at all.
Okay. Because there's a lot of question about that, especially with people that are dealing with holography as a hobby.
Yeah.
I get a lot of questions about this late intensification.
Yeah. Usually, of course, they use low power hidden neon lasers.
Yeah, some of these guys, have these labs in their house.
Yeah.
With 5 milliwatt, 10 milliwatt Heaney lasers, and they're shooting 4 by 5 inch plates or film, and they're wondering, do they have to do this late intensification or?
No, not necessary at all. Not necessary. The late intensification brings the sensitivity of holographic plates in pulse, which is usually less, maybe several times less than sensitivity for continuous wave radiation. So this process brings this sensitivity approximately to the same level.
Yeah.
So it equalizes. And that is why it's really useful for pulse walk.
Any other information you can give us about the camera? Do you expect to have any more installations here in the States?
No, now we are building a camera for Germany for some medical application. I don't know exactly, it's some face surgery. And we have several other possible contracts. No, but it's it's still it's still in progress, and so I cannot give more details about this.
Would it be okay if I asked you what the price of one of these systems runs? If someone wanted to contact you to get one of these systems, what's the price of one of these systems?
Well, actually, it depends on on final requirements, size, but actually it's somewhere around $100,000.
$100,000.
Yeah. It's a really serious technique and quite complicated, machine, and it cannot be too cheap.
Yeah. And what's the lifetime on the laser usually? As long as the flash lamp lasts, I would imagine. Does the rod itself have to ever be replaced, or just the flash lamp?
No, for flash lamp, usually in our system, master selector flash lamp requires replacement maybe once a year, and in the amplifier. We never replaced flash lamp in our amplifiers. I suppose they really last forever. Then it requires some maintenance, maybe once at 2 months. One can clean some optics inside and stuff like that.
Doesn't run off of batteries either, does it? Just a joke. We've been working with a lot of these little diodes that we can use little batteries on, so this is a whole other ball game for everybody that's doing all this.
But I think that maybe maybe in 10 years' time, similar to our system will, we fit it into the size of, I don't know, maybe a fax machine or something.
Yeah, I bet. But it sounds like a wonderful system, just the way that it is right now. It sounds like a wonderful system. It seems awful simple just to go from an H1 to an H2 copy, just...
Yeah, that's really just a issue of pressing of one button, and that's it, it's done.
Yeah, normally that would take quite a bit of time to reset up a holography table to make the transfer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The major, I think, feature of the system is that we use the same laser for mastering and for copying. Because first, it costs less.
Yeah.
And second, we have the same wavelengths for recording and then for image planing. And third, that we use pulse laser for both.
Yeah.
And you imagine the vibration isolation requirements for, especially for large format holography. That's really severe problem, you know. If you go for formats larger than, I don't know, 30 by 40, it becomes really complicated. So those, you know, all those techniques, they actually work well.
Anything else you'd like to add to the show before we close it out?
I don't know.
Anyone you'd like to say hello to?
Yeah, to Sergei Vorobyev. He's a friend, he's holographer from Moscow, and by the way, this is his invention. Not really invention, but he found this trick with the intensification for the APM material. What else? And maybe I would say hello to Yuri Sazonov. He's the director of Micron Plant. Actually, he's a producer of holographic materials, and he's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, everybody can listen to this show because it's on the internet. Yeah. All right, well, thank you very much, Mikhail, for coming on the show and telling us about the new laser system.
Oh, you're welcome.
Tell Rob I said thank you and good luck with everything. And
thank you.
I'm sure everybody will be interested in going to your website for Geola and also Rob's website.
Yeah, thank you for your interest.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.